I have bay leaves, and you guys can like substitute a lot of these things. Bay leaves I've been reading are for like, these are powerful manifesting, good for manifestations and whatnot. I'll put you guys down here. Oh yes. So I have like a little kit. So I have bay leaves. I have an empty bottle for a spritzer. So we're gonna create like a cleanser with this. I have old tea that I don't want to consume. So this is a holy basil. I have some old incense that when you burn them, you know how like when you burn incense, they stink. So, yeah, so I have incense, old. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna be doing. I have colored out silver, empty trays that I don't use. All right. So first things first, cleansing your space. So let's say how there's this inauguration thing going on right now. I gotta move you guys up. I lost my phone holder. All right, this is actually pretty good. So basically, there was an inauguration today and everybody's energy shifted, right? Good, bad, and different. I really don't care anymore. So I just said, hey, why don't I just paradigm shift along with these things? And also, why don't I create some timeline jump techniques? So when we talk about timeline jumping, it's really like, okay, so I'm noticing this, and that's happening over there. So I kind of don't want to participate with that over there. I want to keep my energy and focus over here, and I want to keep my focus good. So these are really good tips. So I'll start with the incense because I know y'all have them, and this is going to be kind of messy. So I also have my boiling pot. So this is going to boil for a good 30 seconds. And then that's how I'm going to distill the water. I'm going to put it in a spritzer bottle. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these incenses. These are patchouli. It smells good, but when you burn it, they stink. So what I'm going to do is either I can scrape these into the tray, like so. And I'm going to try this out myself and see. I'm going to put you guys down here so you can see what I'm doing. Whee! Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that's just an example of what I'm doing with my incense. Because these, I don't want to burn them anymore. I have my spritzer bottle. There's a little bit of some eucalyptus in here. And basically what I want to do is, this is going to be a mess. Let's see if I can do it this way. I have another tray. I just want to like put this in here like so. So you guys can see what I'm doing. So this would be like a fragrance, right? I have my Colorado silver. This is old and expired, but I didn't want it to go to waste. So just do like 4 drops there. My water's distilled and ready to go. Ooh, and that's hot. That's really hot. So I'm gonna let this cool. But I have a fragrance. Boom, I just recycled. It actually smells pretty good. So instead of burning the incense, I have recycled it into a cooling. I like using elements. Bay leaves are good. A lot of times people, they use these bay leaves for affirmations. And so basically when you have these affirmations, you write them on a paper, or you write them on the leaf. Like let's say you want good fortune, I don't know. And then it's pretty cool though. Hoo-ha-ha. And then it fades off. But this is how I like to cleanse. I usually don't like to write certain things. This is really for like anxiety, anti-depression, or if you're overthinking. A lot of times this is good for mood stabilizing factors. So you can just burn them and let the odors create its own essence. And woo! So if ever you have, sadness, you're feeling down, you can just burn some of these. Or if you want to have some positive affirmations, you can write little notes on them, positive affirmations, and burn them if that's what you want to do for like a fun project. This is all in the form of smudging. If you were just tuning in, I took my incense and I just did a little bit of scraping. And then I took the resin from the incense and I put them in an old bottle. And then I took some boiled water because that's distilled. Boiled water won't turn into mold quickly, which is what we want. As this is cooling, I want to put the nozzle back on and use it as a room fragrance. So instead of burning these stinky ones, they smell really good when they're not. So a lot of times I have these incense and I set them in different places around my home because I like the way they smell naturally without burning them. So I just put them in random places and then I'll just keep rotating them. All right, we're going back up here. Another fun project that I have. These are for people who like want to, let's say you want to stop negativity at the door. So I have like a little tray with some water, and this is like a Native American thing, as well as the people who do spells at home. But it's not a spell. But salt and water is always healthy for welcoming only positivity in your home. So we want that to clear, right? Let the salt become one with the water. Okay. I have a little teacup candle. These are like fun projects. Like if you have kids and your kids are like festival babies and they're in tune with, a higher conscious, these are fun little projects. Well, minus the lighter. So always have an adult light with your children. But so I have the tea light candle, and that's going to go on the inside. And the water is very little, so I'm not burning anything. And then for fun, if your kids want to do positive affirmations in the form of like a shakalaka spell, you can do a smudge project. So this is my holy basil. These are old tea leaves that have expired. So I just basically want to put them in a tray like so and do some crushing. crushing. It's so therapeutic. Kind of reminds me of Manny. Smash ya. Okay. And once it's all like smushed down and ready to go, like so, you can do something like a little. Oh yeah, you guys can see how this goes. Look. Like if your kids like are into Harry Potter or whatnot. Or maybe I could turn it around. Ready? Shakalaka-laka. See that? It's just fun. You could talk about your positive affirmations, right? But then you want to watch it because when it lights up, you just want to monitor it. And that's why I also put the water around it. But then what I'm doing here is I'm creating a resin. So that's what I'm doing. And what's cool, because of the wax, it won't like create a big fire. So it's pretty safe. I also like to keep these little toppers of the candles that I have, the big candles. One thing that I did with the holy basil, that's what it's called. You see how it's burning? The resin is actually what I used when I had COVID. And actually used to put my face this high, and I used to actually inhale the resin from the holy basil. So this was like my super saver when I was trying to recover, because no one was telling me how to survive. They were just like, people were dying, which we don't want to hear that. Let me just continue this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Always be on guard to blow out your flame, but I've done this before, so. And it smells really good. So at the end of this whole project that I'm doing, the end of this whole project, basically, your home would smell like a very holistic, safe haven, zen. Anyway, you guys get the point. So that's my little project, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to take, this is still hot. I think it'll be okay. So all of my incense that I turn into resin here, this is patchouli. And if you guys know patchouli, it smells awful. So I just did that in there. I'm going to try to do this with one hand. I just saw someone pop in. So if you just tuned into the room, I took my old incense that smells horrible when I burn it, and I created little resin. I scraped it, and I added it in hot water in an old bottle shaker. And so this is going to be my room fragrance. So I don't want to use this for holistic purposes. It's all like for aromatherapy. So keep that in mind. And it smells pretty good. Or you can just kind of... Uh-oh. I think... Wait, hold on. Let me open this. I need to let it cool first. Woohoo! See that? So if you're like, yeah, that's what I wanted. Some Harry Potterism. So yeah, you can even just, oh, I wish my sprayer was working. Yep. And it doesn't smell burnt, which is cool. So I have my bay leaves. So let's say you can even do this kind of project. You can just kind of surround your area. You know, if you want to make it artistic. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create a whole smudge. Right? All right, back to me. So, continuing my project. I'm going to blow this out. Because when I crush the bay leaves, I don't want them to catch on fire. And so all these are positive affirmations, right? And I just want to, what I should have done instead of what I'm doing now. I should have broke these up into little pieces. Because we want to create resin. So if you're following what I did, these are the bay leaves, it's the salt, a little bit of water, my incense resin. This smells really good. You guys are probably like, what is he doing? And what I'm doing is I'm creating a timeline jump because I'm taking time out of watching TV, which is what most of you are probably doing. Watching the news and being so alluded to everything. I'll put the camera on my project here. So if you're just tuning in, you got a lot of catching up to do. So a lot of us who meditate, do yoga, or the new age spiritual people, they call this smudging. And what I like about smudging is it's like my own hands onto my own project. And my own project is creating its own energy. And what I do is I just want to spread this energy around my home. And let's say like if I put this in the kitchen, when I smell what I'm making here, it'll always put me in a good mood because I'm in a good mood right now putting this together. So that's going to create endorphins. It's going to create mental stimulants. Okay. And it just smells good. You're not trying to create like, you know, a cologne. You're basically just trying to, you know, the mind is going to remember something from this. It's creating a muscle memory of what you're doing. And I like to call this, you know, spiritual arts. Because it's positive, it's healthy, it keeps you busy, keeps your mind busy. Ugh, suck in the belly, Aaron. I also have my Kaladao silver. The next project I had, let me put this away. That is going to go in the kitchen. Next project I had is I took a bunch of sage. I have sage like crumbles, and I just like the smell of the sage when you crush it, because then all the freshness is coming up. So I took an old candle and I just basically put all my sage resin in there. If I wanted to enhance the smell of this, then what I would do, which I don't have at the moment, I would take my tray with my hot water. Let's see if this works. I can put my hot water there and then put my candle on top of the hot water. I'll let you guys see what I'm doing. Sorry, I couldn't find my camera holder, so yeah, so the heat from inside of the tray is going to intensify. If you guys can see inside, see how like the darker black is appearing. So I can actually start smelling the sage, and then I can go back and start crushing the sage and making a resin out of that. And that'll be like a fresh little, it smells good. I love crushing sage. another sage project that I would like to show you guys. We're gonna go to my altar. I don't have time to explain what altar. It's just basically what makes me feel I'm a part of the world and that I'm safe. I'm not Catholic, but hey Mary, what's up? I'm not Hindu, but hey Buddha. But but those make me feel safe. They remind me of journeys that I've had, people that were kind to me, people who gave me like Christmas cards or different gifts. I put on my altar. This is from India. Someone gave that to me. If you look here, there's a lot of smudge, and that's where I keep a lot of my resin, and I create these little projects. This is my old sage, because I never let things go to waste. So if you crush that, this is what we call smudging. So you crush it, and it actually makes a really nice, like soft, gentle smell. A lot of people who do smudging too, they think of positive affirmations, and they'll just, they'll mark their place. Kind of like how cats and dogs tinkle in places. So going to the bathroom, I'll probably start smelling this, and that'll give me some endorphins, positive mental stimulants, whatever you want to call it. So we're going back to my station with the branches. Whee! I wish people could participate, but I know a lot of folks don't have these items at home. So what I like about the branches, when I break them, I usually burn the tip, and that gives me that fresh, right? And then I can add that to, this is like a hot water in my old incense. And you don't want to exceed, like, let's say 4 days, because these items, when they're moist, they will create mold. And you don't want moisture in your lungs, because that can give you pneumonia. But I like to break these and crush them and whatnot. So I'm creating a little project here. But I like to break these. I'll show you guys what I'm doing in 1 second. This is therapeutic. Okay. My hand smells so good right now. All right, so this is what I have. And if I can do this, let's do this side. You guys get the point. If I had 2 hands, different story. So basically you can crush these, and it actually gives you a nice, fresh little scent. Because that's the main reason why I like to buy sage, is because of that fresh smell. Sometimes sage is like outdated when people stock them in their stores, and it doesn't smell as great. Going back to my project here. Yep, I was right. So everything that's in the candle cup, including the fragrance in the cup, is coming out. So all of these are just things that, it's just a big giant mess, but they smell great together. And it just makes your home smell good for a few days. That nice natural smell. And then if you have kids at home, a fun project would be to write positive notes or positive words on bay leaves, and then you can crush them, right? And then you can like put them in the soil and tell your kids, eventually plants can grow, which they do. Plants are all frequency and energy. So what grows out the soil is really what is around the neighborhood, which is quite fascinating. You guys probably think I'm crazy. I have plants outside that I have plants outside where I had one over here in a pot, and out of the ground on this side grew the same one. I was like, how did that happen? Anyway, so I have a big mess to clean up. But that was a fun little project. It smells really good. And also it's good for upper respiratory health. We had a lot of wind here yesterday in California. So our sinuses are probably very sensitive. So I like to do things like that. That invites it invites that virus fighting, natural virus fighting, instead of buying like what do they call them, the all-purpose cleaner and the disinfectant sprays. You can actually use the all of that you created, put it in a old bottle, and just use that and scrub your wood floors with it. Anything that has textured material, wood surfaces. Cool. So the last part of what I want to talk about is timeline jumping. So it's kind of hard to explain this, but let's say I'm gonna play devil's advocate. So I know a lot of Republicans who are not happy. They are not happy. Well, to timeline jump you guys who are conservative, bipartisan, independent, you're not happy about Biden, this is what you got to do. Because I think a lot of people, when they were cordial with the last 4 years, I would say cordial, the other side of things, people were unhappy. So now the tables have turned. That's how you timeline jump. You start to understand, okay, we had one cycle of surfacing things that really needed to come out. We really need to be in our truth of, look, this world is not perfect. The people who control everything are far from perfect. And I'm going to focus on myself. The people who are upset and screaming and all that stuff and rioting and destroying things only set themselves up for a cycle and a pattern that you repeat over and over and over until this moment happens now, where it's like, okay, you got your way. But it took a lot of torment, suffering, and affliction. We call that dark night of the soul. So a lot of people going through dark night of the soul were like angry, right? And so the people who are now on the other side are going through it. So for me, I'm in the middle. I'm like, look, I already had my dark night of the soul in my own personal life. I don't need to go through it for other people. So being aware of things, and also knowing that things occur that change your attitude, behavior, and your thought process, that's what we call a timeline jump. Because you can go from today to 4 days from now with one thought, one intention, a certain routine every day. And then something will happen, an incident will occur that changes what you were supposed to do 4 days from now. Let's say, unfortunately, if someone passes away, and that changes a lot of your plans with that person, you have to change the future. You got to change your plans, or you have to adjust to what happened. So that's what we call a timeline jump, or a shift. A shift would be when you're pulling something into your consciousness, you're seeking something like, oh, I didn't know that. And then when you resonate with that information, and then you're like, all right, ready to move on. I know I've learned it. That's like kind of like grade school. Those are shifts, right? We shift every time that we acquire new information, right? And then when we acquire new information, what's happening is the future is creating itself. The possibilities of one certain particular future is possible, right? It's an infinite world. But then if something happens, let's say you get in a car accident a year ago, it changes the occurrence of what was supposed to happen in the future. So let's say like I got fired from my job. So then, therefore, I didn't really need a car. So what happened in my timeline on accident was I got in a car accident, total loss. But right now is very fortunate because had I kept the car, I would have had $300 payments during a pandemic and no job. That would have put me in a worse future. So in order to accept the timeline jump, I look backwards and go, man, I'm so fortunate that I did not have to pay a car payment while I was looking for a job during a pandemic. So that's my explanation of all that, and the best way that I can explain it. I feel like a kitty cat is watching me. There's two cats somewhere running around, but anyway, what else was on my description? Shifting, timelines, smudging. All of this creates it's kind of like a personal feng shui, a feng shui for your body, your mind, your soul. And that's why I kind of like to utilize this. People might say, "Oh, Aaron, that's not in church." Yes, it is. You know, when you do communion, timeline jump. It's the same thing. It's alchemy. That's what we call alchemical matter, or we use the alchemical experiments in order to excite us, and the excitement of that is putting us in a certain paradigm where our thoughts are one way, our feelings are one way, and I only do it when I feel good. I never want to do it when I'm like, Since I had a birthday yesterday, I thought it would be great to just do something fun for myself today, and I feel good about it. I'm gonna go now. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.